You better not be hanging around those YouTubes again. No, I'm not. Oh yeah, well, how do you explain that camera being on right there? Sorry, Barbara, I must have left it on accident.
Boy, you better not be over there making fun of me!
No, I'm not. Hello, and welcome back to the Thriftington Post. My name is Lantis, and today's episode is about WildStar, an upcoming MMO with a very cartoony look to it. The first thing I've noticed about this game is that the forums are surprisingly empty of complaints. Like, I checked GameFAQs, I checked the WildStar official forums, I've checked other websites, and I'm just not seeing anyone mad about any particular thing in this game. So that's bad news for me because I tend to get most of my information from what people are unhappy about. I don't know, I just find it to be a lot better than what people are happy about. Threads where people are happy about things, one person will say, hey, this feature is in the game and I'm thrilled that it's there. And then there'll be like 2 or 3 more posts where people say, yeah, absolutely, that's a great thing, glad that's in the game, and that's it. And then I go into the next thread and it's like, hey, have you heard about this feature? And someone will say yes, and someone else will say no, but that's cool to hear about. The topics are over too soon. But if you can find a topic where people are upset, then you'll get like 12, 15 pages, because when people are mad about something, then everyone wants to voice their opinion on why exactly this thing is as terrible as everyone's making it out to be. And then a few people will say, no, you're wrong, and then that'll erupt into an argument where points will eventually be made if you read far enough, usually. I mean, if it's a hot topic, then like thing to be mad of the month, then you'll see a lot of the threads repeating the same points over and over again. But still, it provides you with a lot of information about the game when people are upset about something, versus when they're happy about it, then you hear almost nothing. So a lot of the information I have to go on is interviews that the developers have been in, or just patch notes from, because we've just entered the third round of beta, I think. So we have updates from the second one to that one, and I've looked over those, and, well, anyway, this game does look like it's shaping up to be a very good one, because the developers seem to be aiming for 2 very specific goals. Goal number 1 is to make sure that you can play how you want to play what you want to play. And goal number 2 is to take all these different categories of people that are playing what they want to play and make them play together. So that actually seems kind of cool. So your own personalized experience is tailored to what you enjoy doing, but you're rewarded for grouping with other people. And that's a reward beyond just stuff dies faster. Like, that was one of my complaints about, I just was talking about Elder Scrolls Online, is that grouping with people just made stuff die faster and you get more XP. But the gameplay kind of waffles and suffers, I feel, from being in a group. And a lot of MMOs sort of have that, where if you're in a group, it means what you're doing happens easier. Like in Guild Wars 2, it makes some of the dynamic events possible, and other ones just much easier if you're in a if you have other people whacking on the monster besides just yourself. But with WildStar, you can actually experience new content that you would not have been able to otherwise if you group with someone else. And first of all, that's because of their path system. That's whenever you're making a character, you get to pick what you like to do. Do you like to kill mobs, explore, build things, or do you like lore? So whichever one of those 4 things you like doing most, select it, and your quest, while you'll still have all 4 things to do, your quest will revolve mostly around going and doing that thing. So if you like to kill stuff, there'll be a lot more mobs to kill, you'll be grinding a lot more, and things like that. Now, this is separate from your class. What your class is Let me check. You could be a soldier, explorer. Those are the paths. You could be a warrior, stalker, gunslinger, or esper. That's right, you can actually play as the Final Fantasy VI magic system as a class in this game. So, hey, that's interesting. But anyway, so what I started to read initially, soldiers for killing mobs, explorer is for finding hidden areas or spending a lot more time just searching around. Explorers actually have access to areas that no one else has access to unless you're grouped with an explorer, and that's where the synergy of party members come from. You group with, if a soldier and an explorer group together, they could go off and find, the soldier can find that he has access to the places that the explorer has, but the soldier also benefits from having more monsters to fight. So I'm actually wondering if they're going to have something like, in this new area that only explorers can get to, there'll now also be more things to fight in it because he's grouped with a soldier. Or if it'll just be for this specific place that the soldier goes to, there's more mobs there. So the explorer can go with him to have more stuff to kill in those areas, and then the soldier can go explore more stuff by going this way. And then the other two are settler and scientist. Settler is for building things, and that might sound kind of boring, but it's really not, because for one thing, it's one of the more social paths you can take, because you get together with other settlers and y'all can build bigger things and better things and build them faster. And if you're on a PvP server, people from the other faction can come in and tear your structures down, so you actually have to defend them after building them up. And that's really, really awesome, because I haven't seen anything like that in an MMO in a long time. It's since EverQuest, maybe, that you could actually like have structures that other people can go in and attack. And there's a whole PvP system built around destroying the enemy stuff, which I'll talk more about in a second. But the last path is scientist, and that's for anyone that has a completionist mindset whenever they're coming into an MMO, where you want to find out as many different things as you can about the story, or just collecting things. So actually, I guess they're going to have a lot of gathering quests. That sounds right. Anyway, another thing that WildStar is doing is trying to make sure that things don't become too stale or stagnant for you. One problem a lot of MMOs run into is, no matter how good a dungeon is or how cool a puzzle is, when you're doing it for the 10th time, it is very boring. It's very tedious. And if you level a bunch of alts, or if the dungeon's just repeatable, like if you're leveling up, you'll probably do the same dungeon several times until you've out-leveled it. When you're doing things like this, it gets kind of tedious to have to be doing the same thing over and over again. So what WildStar is trying to do is keep things dynamic, keep them more fresh than you are normally accustomed to in MMOs. So aspects of the dungeons will be changing every week. That's what they say they want to do. So I don't know how drastically different they're going to be from week to week, but it makes me think of things like the monsters will be different kinds of them, the paths will change up, maybe there could even be different bosses on different weeks, or what the bosses do could be different on different weeks. But that is a week-by-week basis changing. The puzzles, on the other hand, they say that the puzzles in the game will be different, will be randomized and different every single time you do them. But another way that they're trying to get people that have different tastes to come together is, even at in-game, PvPers would benefit from being in a guild with PvEers, because there's a thing called war plots, and it sounds like battlegrounds, but either way, you and someone else have your structures put together, and you can go into raids and capture raid bosses, bring it out of the raid, and have it level your enemy's town if you have access to it. So if you're a PvPer and you know some people that raid, you might be able to convince them to let you go in there and capture that monster, bring it out, and blow up the enemy with it. Or if you're a PvEer, what better way to get into PvP than to be riding in on the back of the strongest dragon in the game? That sounds really cool. Like, I'm not even entirely sure how this will work, but I would love to give this a try. And it's not built for casual players. They have said that this is not something that people that only play a few hours a day or a few hours a week would ever get to see. This is for people that really are more on the hardcore side of playing games. But that sounds like it would be worth my time to be able to actually see something like that in person, to experience that, because I'm not sure what all's going to go into building up a town, but if it takes a lot of work and effort, then it would be fantastic to just smash it all down with a giant Hulk I captured in the latest raid instance. That is going to be really cool, and I can't wait to see how that actually plays out in the game itself. But that idea of persistent damage or permanent damage is prevalent in several parts of the game. Like, they were talking about being able to blow up a mountain with a meteor that just randomly falls out of the sky or something, and replace the mountain model with a crater model. So things like that will definitely be something I'll be looking into when I start to play it. But for now, that's about all I have to say about that. I'll bring more information up about this game as I actually learn more about it. But anyway, that's it for the show today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can leave a comment below, or you could contact me on Twitter at Lantis Armstrong. That's LentisArmstrong. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.